Welcome to Late Night Journeys. This is a place where you can slow down, set aside the worries of your day, and drift into a gentle world of story, sound, and stillness. Each night I'll be your guide, leading you into calming tales that blend the real and the imagined. Stories designed not to excite, but to soothe. Narratives painted in quiet detail, where footsteps, lamplight, and ocean waves all become companions on your way to rest. Tonight we'll be beginning our very first journey together. Our story follows a fisherman, an ordinary man with weathered hands and a steady pace, as he strolls through a small seaside town at dusk. The lamps are being lit, the waves are lapping against the wooden docks, and the air is filled with the faint aroma of bread from a nearby bakery. Together, we'll walk slowly with him, noticing the seagulls circling overhead, the lantern reflections dancing on the water, and the soft rhythm of footsteps on cobblestone streets. Nothing urgent, nothing pressing. Just a simple, peaceful walk through a town by the sea. But before we begin, let's take some time to let go. I invite you now to settle into a comfortable position. Whether you are lying in bed or sitting quietly in a chair, let your body soften into the space beneath you. Take a slow, deep breath in. Gently hold it for a moment, and now exhale slowly. Again, breathe in deeply, filling your lungs. Hold and release. Feel your shoulders drop as you let that breath go. One more time. In through the nose and out through the mouth. With each breath, imagine that the weight of your day is gently loosening, falling away like sand slipping through your fingers. The thoughts that crowded your mind can wait until tomorrow. For now, there is nothing to solve, nothing to achieve. Only rest. Allow your jaw to soften, your hands to relax. Let the muscles in your face and your neck grow loose and light. Notice your breathing settling into a calm, easy rhythm. If a thought rises, let it float by like a drifting cloud and gently return to the sound of my voice. This is your time to unwind, to let the soft edges of the evening carry you toward stillness. In just a few moments, we'll begin our story, the first step on our fisherman's walk through town. But before we begin, I'll gently remind you, if you enjoy this journey tonight, I'd love for you to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Doing so helps us bring more calm, more stories, and more late-night journeys to share with you. Now, take one last deep breath in, hold it gently, and exhale. The day is behind you. The night is yours. And with that, let us begin tonight's story. The day has come to a gentle close. The sea, restless for hours, has quieted, and the air carries the faint coolness of evening. Inside a small, weather-worn cabin by the shore, the fisherman begins to gather his things. His quarters are simple, but filled with the quiet weight of years spent by the sea. Against the wall, A sturdy wooden table holds a few scattered items. A coil of rope, worn smooth with use, a small brass compass, and a lantern whose glass is smudged with the marks of many nights. A net, folded carefully, rests in the corner, faintly smelling of salt and seaweed. The walls are panelled with driftwood-coloured boards marked by knots and stains that tell the story of time and weather. A single window looks out toward the water. Its shutters, paint faded to a pale blue, creak softly when the wind brushes by. From here, the fisherman can just make out the faint orange glow of lamps being lit in the town farther up the shore. On a low shelf, near his bed, there are a few simple belongings: a clay mug, a knife with a wooden handle, and a small journal filled with notes about tides, weather, and catches from long days at sea. Beside the journal sits a seashell, pale and spiraled, a keepsake from a younger time. The floor is cool underfoot, its planks polished not by design, but by years of boots passing across them. The faint scent of salt lingers in the room, mixed with the earthy smell of damp rope and old wood. The fisherman reaches for his coat, thick and patched in places, but dependable against the evening chill. He slips it on, then picks up his hat from the hook by the door. His boots, still dusted with grains of sand from the docks, thump softly as he walks. Before he leaves, he pauses for a moment. He takes in the familiar space, the quiet room that has sheltered him after countless days of work. The low hum of the sea presses faintly against the walls, a sound that has been both his companion and his livelihood for as long as he can remember. He lifts the lantern from the table, strikes a match, and watches as the flame flickers to life. A warm glow spreads across the cabin, reaching into its corners, casting long shadows on the wooden boards. With one last glance around, the fisherman pushes the door open. The air outside greets him, cool and fresh, carrying the briny tang of the sea. The sound of the waves is closer now, gentle, rhythmic, as if urging him forward. Behind him, gulls call faintly as they settle along the shoreline for the night. Ahead lies the cobblestone road, its stones glistening faintly with the last traces of sea mist. The road curves along the beach, leading toward the heart of town, where warm light and quiet voices spill out from windows and doorways. The fisherman steps out, pulling the door closed behind him. His boots meet the cobblestones with a steady, unhurried rhythm. Each step joins the chorus of waves and distant gulls. With lantern in hand, and the sky above deepening into twilight, he begins his walk. His first stop, the bakery. The cobblestone path curves gently along the shoreline, leading the fisherman away from his cabin and into the pulse of the town. The sea remains close, always close, its waves brushing against the wooden docks with a steady hush, like a lullaby. Only the coast knows how to sing. Lanterns begin to glow, one by one, casting golden halos across the street. Their light ripples gently on the wet stones, catching in the shallow puddles left by the tide. The fisherman's lantern joins them, another warm flame in the growing dusk. Above, seagulls circle lazily, their caws echoing against the evening sky. Some linger on the rooftops, hopping from beam to beam as if deciding where to rest for the night. Others glide low over the waves, their wings brushing the cool air in slow, deliberate arcs. The fisherman walks steadily, his boots clicking against the cobblestones. As he passes, he hears the distant laughter of children. A small group chases one another down the narrow lane, wooden toys clattering as they run. Their voices rise and fall like a melody, light and fleeting, soon carried away by the ocean breeze. Laundry sways above him, strung across lines that stretch from one stone building to another. Shirts, dresses, and simple linens catch the wind, fluttering softly like sails. Their shadows drift across the road, weaving in and out of the lantern light. The houses here are old, their walls built from stone, pulled from the very cliffs that cradle the town. Some have shutters painted in fading colors, pale greens, deep blues, and chipped reds, all softened by years of salt air. From open windows, the fisherman catches glimpses of quiet evening life. A woman lighting candles at a table, a family seated together with steaming bowls of soup, the glow of firelight spilling into the street. Farther along, the path widens to reveal the docks. Boats are tied neatly in rows, their hulls rocking gently as the water laps against them. Nets are draped over posts to dry, still glistening faintly in the lantern light. A few fishermen linger there, stowing their gear, exchanging quiet words as they finish their work. They nod as the man passes, familiar faces bound by the rhythm of the sea. The air is alive with scents, the sharp salt of the ocean, the faint smoke from wood stoves, and now, drifting through the streets, the unmistakable warmth of fresh bread. The fisherman steps slow for a moment as he inhales, the fragrance comforting and familiar. It pulls him onward, guiding him deeper into town. The road narrows again as he moves past rows of shops with shutters half closed for the night. Wooden signs creak softly above their doors, swinging with the breeze. The soft glow of windows gives the street a gentle heartbeat, each pool of light leading into the next. At last he turns a corner, and there it is, the bakery. Its windows glow warmly, brighter than most, and the air outside is thick with the scent of loaves just pulled from the oven. Through the glass, shelves lined with golden crusts and sugared pastries invite weary passers-by. The hum of quiet conversation seeps out as the door opens and closes, letting a brief wave of heat and aroma spill into the street. The fisherman pauses for a moment outside. He watches as a family steps out, the children holding small rolls wrapped in paper, their laughter carrying into the night. He adjusts his lantern in hand, takes one more breath of the warm air, and pushes open the door. The door swings open, and a wave of warmth spills into the cool evening air. Inside, the bakery glows with golden light, its walls lined with wooden shelves stacked high with loaves. The smell is rich and comforting, the sharp tang of sourdough, the sweetness of sugared rolls, and the deep, savory aroma of soup simmering in the back. Behind the counter stands the baker, an older man with flour dusting his apron and hair. His sleeves are rolled up, his hands broad and steady as if kneaded by years of shaping dough. He looks up, and a smile creases his face. "Evening," he says, his voice warm and familiar. I thought I might see you. Day's nearly done, and you're always one of the last to stop by. The fisherman returns the smile, resting his lantern gently on the counter. Wouldn't be right to end the day without stopping in, he replies. His voice is steady, touched by the softness of routine. They have known each other for many years. The baker has seen the fisherman come in countless nights like this, shoulders tired from the sea, eyes softened by dusk. Their conversations are never hurried, never heavy. Just the simple exchange of neighbors who know each other's ways. What'll it be tonight, the baker asks, though he already knows the answer. A loaf of sourdough, the fisherman says, and a bowl of warm soup, if there's still some left. Maybe a pastry too, something sweet to finish the day. The baker chuckles. There's always soup for you. And I've set aside one of the last pastries, apple with cinnamon. Thought you might like it. The fisherman nods gratefully. He watches as the baker wraps a loaf in paper, the crust golden and firm, then ladles steaming soup into a simple clay bowl. The aroma rises, filling the air between them with warmth. Finally, the pastry is placed on a small plate. Sugar crystals catching the lantern light. The fisherman accepts each offering with care. Thank you, he says quietly. The baker waves a hand. Nothing to thank me for. Just get some rest. The sea will wait for you in the morning. The fisherman smiles once more, the kind of smile born from years of shared words and quiet understanding. He tucks the bread under his arm, balances the bowl and plate carefully, and lifts his lantern again. Good night, he says. Good night, the baker replies, already turning back to his work, preparing the last loaves for tomorrow's dawn. The fisherman steps outside. The air feels cooler now after the bakery's warmth, but the food in his hands glows with heat. Across the street lies a small park, its benches scattered beneath lanterns, its paths lined with trees that rustle softly in the evening breeze. He walks toward it slowly, boots tapping against the cobblestones, ready to enjoy his meal in the quiet heart of the town. The fisherman crosses the cobblestone street and enters the small park at its edge. Lanterns glow along the pathways, their light softened by the branches of trees swaying gently overhead. The grass is dark and cool, and the faint scent of earth rises as the evening dew begins to form. He chooses a bench beneath one of the lanterns. Setting his lantern at his side, he places the wrapped loaf of bread, the steaming bowl of soup, and the sugared pastry carefully before him. For a moment, he simply sits, listening. The town is softened. The laughter of children still lingers, but fainter now, as families begin to gather their things and drift towards home. Doors close in the distance, shutters are drawn, and the hum of the day folds slowly into evening quiet. Above, the sky has deepened, blue fading to indigo, and the first stars beginning to shimmer like pinpricks in the dark. The fisherman unwraps the sourdough. The crust crackles as he breaks off a piece, releasing a faint tang of yeast and salt. He takes a bite. The bread is firm on the outside, soft and warm within, and the taste carries the unmistakable comfort of something simple and familiar. He dips another piece into the bowl of soup. Steam curls upward, fragrant with herbs and vegetables. The broth is hearty, rich without being heavy, warming his chest as he swallows. He takes his time with each spoonful, savoring the way the flavors unfold slowly. Carrots sweet on the tongue, onions soft and mellow, and a touch of thyme lingering at the edges. The sounds of the town dim further as dusk deepens. Lantern light glimmers across the cobblestones, and the faint glow of windows grows sparser as one by one they go dark. A horse-drawn cart rattles down a distant street, then fades, leaving only the steady rhythm of waves and the occasional cry of a gull finding its rest. Finally, he lifts the pastry from its plate. The sugar sparkles faintly in the lantern light, and the scent of apple and cinnamon rises the moment he breaks into it. The crust is flaky, delicate, crumbling slightly in his fingers. The filling is sweet, with just enough spice to linger warmly on the tongue. He closes his eyes as he eats, letting the last taste of the day carry him further into calm. When the bowl is empty and the last crumbs are gone, the fisherman sits quietly for a while. He breathes in the cool air, the scent of bread still lingering faintly from the bakery across the street, and watches as the park empties. A family passes by on their way home, the children half asleep in their parents' arms. Soon after, the benches stand empty, the pathway still, and the town is wrapped in the hush of night. The fisherman rises slowly, gathering the paper wrappings and tucking them neatly away. He takes care to leave the bench as he found it, then lifts his lantern once more. Its glow casts a soft circle of light around him as he steps back onto the cobblestone road. The park lies quiet behind him. The sea murmurs steadily beyond the town, and the path ahead leads back toward home. He begins the walk unhurried as the night settles in. The fisherman leaves the park, lantern in hand, and begins the slow walk back toward his home by the sea. The cobblestones glisten faintly under the glow of street lamps, each pool of light giving way to the soft shadows between. Overhead, the moon hangs full and silver, casting its reflection across the water beyond the town. The air is cooler now, carrying with it the hush of night. The bustle of the evening has faded. Most doors are shut, most windows dark, and the once busy streets lie still. Only the soft scrape of his boots and the low hum of the sea accompany him as he makes his way. As he walks, he reflects quietly, not in words, but in feelings. He thinks of the rhythm of his days, the early mornings, the nets and lines, the patience of waiting on the sea. He thinks of the town, of its lanterns and laughter, its warmth and its routines. He has lived this life many years, and in it he has found a steady kind of joy. There is beauty everywhere if you walk slowly enough to see it. In the way the light flickers across stone, in the scent of bread drifting from an open window, in the sound of children's laughter fading into dusk, in the simple strength of work well done, and the rest that follows after. He feels no longing for another life. His hands may be weathered, his days may be hard, but his heart is content. Here, among these streets, among these people, with the sea always close, he has all that he needs. His steps grow slower as he nears the edge of town. The street lamps are fewer here, their glow dimmer, leaving the night to the company of his lantern and the gentle light of the moon above. Shadows stretch across the road, long and soft, but he is untroubled. Each step feels like a lull, carrying him closer to rest. His eyes grow heavy. The weight of the day settles deeper in his body. He welcomes it, the tiredness of honest work, the kind that ends not in weariness, but in peace. At last, he sees his cabin come into view, its shutters drawn, its familiar shape waiting quietly against the edge of the shore. The waves greet him as they always do, lapping steadily against the docks, whispering their endless song. The fisherman lifts his lantern one final time, watching its glow dance across the wooden door. He breathes in the salt air, the night air, the air of home, and with a heart steady and full, he steps inside to rest. Inside his cabin, the fisherman sets his lantern on the small table and lays his bundle of belongings aside. The room feels familiar and safe. The quiet creak of the wooden boards beneath his boots, the faint scent of salt carried in on his coat. He takes a moment to put his things in order. The worn coat comes off first, hung carefully on the hook by the door. His boots are left neatly by the wall, grains of sand spilling gently onto the floor. His work clothes, rough, salt-stained, heavy with the memory of the day, are folded and set aside for tomorrow. In their place, he pulls on softer garments, a plain linen shirt and loose trousers, clothes meant not for labor but for rest. At the hearth, he kneels and draws a small fire. The wood crackles to life, orange flames chasing away the coolness of the night. Soon the cabin glows with warmth, shadows swaying gently across the driftwood-colored walls. The sound of the fire joins the endless murmur of the waves just outside, together weaving a song of calm. From the low shelf, he retrieves an old book. Its cover is worn, its pages softened from years of turning, but it is a faithful companion, one he has read many times before. He lowers himself into the chair by the fire, the cushion well worn to his shape, and opens the book. The words are familiar, like visiting an old friend. He does not rush through them. He reads slowly, letting each sentence linger, the firelight flickering across the pages. His belly is full, his heart steady, and each passing minute seems to draw him deeper into stillness. Before long, his eyes grow heavy. The words blur softly on the page, his lids drooping lower and lower as the warmth of the fire wraps around him. The fisherman closes the book gently, resting it on the small table beside him. He breathes deeply, savoring the quiet of the moment, the fire's soft crackle, the faint scent of wood smoke, the steady lull of the sea outside. He rises slowly, stretching the tiredness from his limbs, and makes his way toward the bed in the corner of the room. Pulling the covers aside, he settles into their familiar embrace. The pillow cradles his head, the firelight flickers across the ceiling, and his breathing begins to steady into the rhythm of sleep. With the day behind him and the promise of another ahead, the fisherman closes his eyes. His body loosens, his thoughts drift, and soon he's carried away, into rest, into dreams, into the quiet tide of night.